autobiography. These then are the facts. When I was 10, my father was declared a bankrupt and was incarcerated in Marshalsea, the debtor's prison. His creditors determined that some member of our family had to earn wages. So I was taken away and placed in a damp, lightless factory where they manufactured boot blacking. For 12 hours a day, I pasted labels on blacking jars. I was diligent in my work and tried not to hear the incessant scurry beneath the floorboards. Or I would close my eyes and pretend that it was rain on the window and that I was safely home in bed. But when the noises began running and squealing between my legs, even an imagination as resolute as mine could not make of them anything but what they were. Some days, the owner would set me in a large window, and people would stop by to admire the little man at work. This would usually occur around midday when the streets were full. Later, the owner, a cousin of mine, would happily report that my performance was responsible for the immediate and large purchases made by the lunch hour crowds. To a boy whose world was bound by sunlight and a lazy blue river, this descent into meanness and filth seemed like the end of life. My companions were street urchins who had little sympathy for a boy who knew how to read and liked to. I was totally friendless. I spoke to no one, except at night, when I would visit my father in his jail cell. I wanted him to know the misery of my existence.
You are a most disagreeable child.
Yes.
Listen, I wrote this morning. I am a grown man, or as grown a man as any writer comes to be, but more and more I find that I must answer to the whims of a little boy. He comes to me now and then during the day as I work. Listen, this is about you. Most often he comes for me at night. Although I am a grown man and he is but a little child, he compels me by some power to follow him. He guides me in the constricted streets until I can smell the river. I know where he is leading me, and I stop as a dark structure rears up out of the night. No, I say, I would follow you if I could, but I haven't the power. I turn and I flee. Up the narrow lanes, up away from the river, I push my way through a noisy crowd where I see the faces of friends and relations long dead. I shout out to them, but they have no consciousness of me. I'm carried along until I find myself in a mean street in a Camden town slum. Before me is a tumble-down pawn shop. Three grotesque creatures are there bickering with the proprietor. I'm trying to reach an accommodation. Look, I found these last night while rummaging about. Huh? Don't you recognize them?
No.
They're Christmas toys, you old goat. For all of his faults, John Dickens knew how to choose a Christmas gift. They're yours too. Come see.
Despite our poverty,
can't seem to do anything that pleases you. Can't we be at peace? It doesn't become a man to war with children.
They're a trap.
What are?
The toys.
No, they're not. Yes, they are. Of a sort. I just want to make you a part of me again. Won't you come to me?
No.
What do you want me to do?
Stand on your head.
Oh, I will not stand on my head.
Sing a Christmas song then.
Very well. Oh, come. This is ridiculous. It isn't enough that you haunt me, is it? Oh, you simply must defy me as well. I know I have not always used you well. I have behaved bitterly towards you. I have blamed you for faults that are my own. I admit that, but not anymore.
There's a man with a goose downstairs.
Yes, we're having a Christmas Eve party tonight.
He has another goose.
That is a sure sign that Mark Leonard will be here. And it's just another reason why I wish you would be more attentive. Goose is not inexpensive. Neither is clothing, nor coal, nor paper, nor quills. I cannot get any amount of work done lying about so unproductively on every thought.
Do you think he has to work tonight?
Who?
The goose man.
Probably.
Must have a nasty boss making him work on Christmas Eve.
Oh, now, don't play with that. The fact that I have resorted to putting it all down on paper, now that says something.
I want to take music lessons.
That would have been nice. Did you know about the girl I was in love with when I was 18?
No.
Quite beautiful. She was. But she was very frivolous, too, of course.
Who am
I don't know.
I? Guess.
Ah, the Queen's color guy.
No.
I give up.
The boy with the crutch.
Oh. You're much too clever for me.
From the factory, the boy with the crutch.
What boy with a crutch? I don't remember anyone like that.
That's because there wasn't any.
Of course. Of course there wasn't any boy with a crutch. What if there had been? Would he in fact be able to work? What about his family? They'd have to be in a terrible situation to even consider it. And his brothers and his sisters? Oh, they'd have to work long hours at some menial labor, doing 6 or 7 pence a week. And what about the father? A laborer. Or a clerk, perhaps, with a pinch-fisted old employer opposed on principle to paying a living wage. What the devil? What if that employer had a partner?
our Savior only had known, we would be celebrating his 1843rd birthday in such a fashion. He had returned and put an end to things long ago. Oh. So, it was you who confounded my shins, was it?
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hey, Uncle Porpoise. I've never seen any man run so. Never seen so large a man run so, you mean? Off you go. Shh, about your work.
Work?
Uncle Bob told us to trim the room like a tree. Do it up proper and set or I'll show you how.
He's gone mad.
Well, he is excited. You excited him, Mark Lemon.
Uncle Porpoise!
I only suggested he tell us a Christmas story. And since it is Christmas Eve, I thought it's a thorough and reasonable request. Next thing I know, he's chasing me about the room with a broomstick, bellowing up the stairs to the attic with you.
You cut quite a figure and quite a path, too. You tumbled every vase in the vicinity, I think. The retreat you beat up those stairs is hilarious. As funny as anything I've seen in your magazine years. Oh, I think you inflicted grave injury in that last flight of stairs. They were groaning in considerable pain when we came up.
Christmas has driven him mad. The most famous writer in England. I think we're entitled to a story.
He absolutely refuses. He is adamant. He's got something up his sleeve, the old magician.
The old murderer, you mean? I nearly broke my legs over this trunk.
Oh, that's our theatrical trunk for our costumes and so on. You haven't seen our theatricals, have you, Uncle Porpoise? Well, Stanley here, he paints the scenery. Well, he acts as well. They're a smashing piece of fun. Well, Dickens chooses a play, rehearses us night and day for a month. We take it off for charity. We've all of us done it. We leave the children. They're the best of us all, I think. It's their imaginations.
No, it's not. It's our talent.
Well, that modest estimation proves she's a Dickens, if only by marriage. Forrester does them too.
No, Forrester? I can't believe a man with the social amenities of a porcupine. Painting his face, frisking across a snake. Well, he kills daisies with a stare. It's his hobby, you know.
Well, we raised hundreds for the children's hospital.
That trunk nearly landed me in the hospital.
You should see him work. His energy is extraordinary. Between driving us like slaves and taking the principal roles for himself, one would swear he's possessed by demons.
Oh, good God, he's driving the women up too.
I don't know how we done it, but we haven't spilled a drop. Oh, he'd have our heads if we did. He insists we have the punch.
Bravo, ladies. A remarkable feat.
I think it's an accomplishment to be chased round a table up 2 flights of stairs with a full bowl of punch. What could he be thinking?
Something outrageous, I am quite confident.
Good gracious! He sure takes this slave business seriously, doesn't he?
Yes, and it's just your size, too.
Fortunately, my dear friend, as you would be the very first one to point out, these days I can find very little that is my size.
Well, if this is any indication, I'm certainly to fortify ourselves for whatever it is he has in mind. Have some punch.
Look at this, my dear. A serenade.
Stanley, please, not a serenade.
Why not? I'm quite handy with a fiddle and a bow.
I know several cats that would disagree. Now, Stanley, Stanley played the violin for a week beneath my window until I went to marry him. But not until he gave up music and swore fidelity to the artist's crush.
Nonsense. We only agreed that I not play beneath your window. And I haven't. Well, as for the alley cats, they obviously recognized in the strings of my instrument a long-lost cousin, and were understandably shaken. Now then, ladies and gents, the Christmas child. Narrow-minded critic. Say, everything's gone dark. Muses protect me. All the martial forces of Christendom shall not prevent me from being heard. Ladies and gents, the Christmas child.
Good gracious, what is that man up to?
There, Uncle Porpoise. Does it look like Christmas?
It's superb, child. All it's lacking is a tree.
We three kings of Orient are bearing gifts. We travel child. Which way to lead?
Good God.
What have you done to the tree, Charles?
Oh, well, it insisted I bring some of it up. A cow, it said, I don't want to be left out. Besides, I have many more, and I'll never miss it a minute. You'll have it back in me by Christmas morning, and I will never know the difference.
What is all this?
Ooh, I have seen a vision, a miser's bed,
Well, I say,
a boy with a crutch,
he busted the broomstick.
a man draped in chains, a stunning, a brilliant idea. Oh, the one who is missing will be here directly. Oh, and won't he be in a temple? Night is folding itself around us. Come, look. The moonlight is fading as the fog slides in. It's freezing, thawing, sniveling. The pavement is greasy with damp. Nothing can stand, and nobody can quite fall.
A good night to be indoors, by a fire, in the parlor.
I apologize. I had quite forgotten. Frederick, by all means, a fire.
Right.
We can't very well have a Christmas tale without a fire blazing now, can we?
So it is a story. You need to have put us through all this trouble for the sake of a story. You could have told it as well in the parlor.
No, don't be silly, I haven't. He wants to tell it here, where he writes, to be inspired by the atmosphere.
Yes, it went wonderful.
Peace! It is Christmas Eve. It is my work telling stories. Oh, surely you don't suggest that a man work upon Christmas Eve? Oh, no. I have something entirely different in mind. Oh, he's here. This is my man in chains. I want everyone to greet him with a hearty Merry Christmas, John. But first, be prepared for a blow. Batten down the hatches high. Submerge yourself, Uncle Porpoise.
Hello? Dickens! Anybody here?
Merry Christmas, John!
You lunatic! An explanation at once.
Oh, gentle Forester, meek and mild, Merry Christmas.
I don't see any chains.
Chains? What is she talking about?
Ladies and gentlemen, my kind and most understanding of friends, Mr. John Forrester. I believe you know everyone here, Forrester? Oh, well, you haven't met my niece, Helen.
No, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, John.
Yes, yes. Now will you explain why we are celebrating this auspicious night in such an unorthodox, uncomfortable, and odious little room?
It's simple. Uncle Porpoise here suggested that Dickens tell us a Christmas tale. And instead of sitting us around the fire, he's heard of this all upstairs.
You asked Dickens to tell a story and he refused? Don't stand there, man. Fetch a doctor. He's unmistakably ill.
No. I am as healthy as the good day itself, and I'd be as glad of a Christmas story as you'd be. But if there is a worse sin than working upon Christmas Eve, it is one man doing all of the work while the rest sink back and savor his industry. No. If we are to have a Christmas tale, let us each take a part in its telling. We have everything we need in this room, the costumes and the properties of Dickens' theatricals.
I say, this could be fun.
Oh, it will be glorious. Put yourselves in my hands, and we will bring forth the most wondrous of Christmas spirits. Now, for the roles.
Just a moment here, friend Dickens. We are going to tell a Christmas story.
We are going to perform a Christmas story. Yes, John?
Are there ghosts and such things in this story?
Most assuredly. What is a Christmas story without them?
And we, respectable adults, are going to glide about pretending to be these ghosts, which are strictly the products of over-fertile imaginations.
Yes, again, John.
Do I get to plan.
My entire plan rests on the assumption that you will play any number of ghosts.
Good. Otherwise, I'd not participate. But, as it stands, I'll do it. And I'll act the devil out of all of you.
Bravo. Oh, now for the role. Charlie, the young gentleman, beginning with a character. Helen, the very young ladies, also beginning with a character. Now, the two of you pick out a character that you both know, and a good one. To Stanny, the young and hard-working men. This is a role with which you are very well accustomed. Begin with a clerk named Cratchit. Frederick, to you fall a mixture of the dandies and those men determined to get ahead in this world and accomplish great things. This is a role with which you are thoroughly unaccustomed. Begin with a nephew named, of all names, Fred. My dear Catherine, the matrons and the mothers. The latter role you fit so well, being acquainted with through experience. But the former will require some imagination on your part. Your first assignment is a creature named Mrs. Fezziwig. Miss Stanfield, to you, all of the young and available ladies. Uncle Porpoise, those roles which are a little more well-rounded. And Forrester, all that is left, including a ghost or two. Within these bounds, feel free to play whomever, whatever you like. I shan't be annoyed if you stretch or exchange assignments on occasion, so long as you act for the sake of the story. Carry those items that I have given you with you throughout the entirety of our tale. They will give a unity to our work. Use whatever you like in this room. Use the furniture, use the costumes, use each other. Confer if you like. But bear in mind one thing. Jacob Marley is dead. This must be distinctly understood. There can be no doubt whatever about this. If anything wonderful is to come of the tale we are about to create. Jacob Marley is dead as a doornail. Now mind, I don't mean to say that I know of my own knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hand shall not disturb that. Therefore, you will allow me to repeat again, emphatically, that Jacob Marley is dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. How could it have been otherwise? He and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole assigned, his sole residuary legatee, his sole friend, and his sole mourner. Oh, not even Scrooge was so cut up by the sad event. Being an excellent man of business, he solemnized the occasion on the very day of the funeral with an undoubted bargain. He never painted out old Marley's name above the door. There it stood years later above the warehouse, Scrooge and Marley. Then, once upon a time, all good days of the year, Christmas Eve, Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. Oh, it was bleak, biting cold weather. Well, the city clocks had just gone 3. It was already quite dark. It had never really been light. For the fog was pouring in at every chink and keyhole. Oh. hand at the grindstone Scrooge. Squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covered this old sinner. Hard, sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck generous fire. Cold within him had froze his features, nipped his nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red and his thin lips blue, and he spoke shrewdly in a grating tone. There was a frosty rime upon his head, his eyebrows, and his wiry chin. He carried with him his own low temperature always. He iced his office in the dog days and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Ah, humbug.
Christmas, a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. Oh, what right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Come now. What reason do you have to be dismal? You're rich enough.
What is Christmas to you? But another time for paying bills without having any money. Time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. Time for balancing all of your books and having every item in them presented, dead against you. Bah!
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I do when I live in a world of fools such as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas, I say. If I would work my will, every idiot goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart he should.
Uncle!
And you, let me keep Christmas in my way, and you keep it in yours.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then. Much good it may do you, much good it has ever done you.
There are many things from which I derive good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. Christmas among them. And it's the only time I know when men and women open their shut-up hearts and think of less fortunate people, as if they really were fellow passengers of the grave and not another race of creature. Therefore, Uncle, even though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pockets, I believe it has done me good. And I say, God bless it.
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep Christmas by losing your situation. You're a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder that you don't go in Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come dine with us tomorrow.
Oh, I'll dine with the devil first.
But why, Uncle?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Oh, because I fell in love. Good afternoon.
You never came to see me before I married. Why give it as a reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why cannot we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We've never had a quarrel to which I've been a party, but I paid my visit in homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. You're another fellow. My clerk, with his 15 shillings a week. A wife, a family, talking about Merry Christmas. Oh, I'll retire to bed now. What
Scrooge and Marley, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
We have no doubt that his liberality is well represented by this dividing partner.
At this festive time of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provisions for the poor and the destitute, who suffer greatly at the present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessities. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comfort, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. I wish I could say they were not.
I was worried from what you had said there at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. Well, I am glad to hear it.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish cheer of mind or body, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Since you asked me what I wish, gentlemen, that is my answer. I don't make myself merry at Christmas. I can't afford to make idle people merry either. I support those establishments that I have mentioned, and those who are badly off should go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
Oh, well, if they had rather die, then they should do it. And decrease the surplus population. Besides, I don't know,
But you might know it.
it's not my business to know it. It is enough for one man to understand his own business without interfering in other people's. Mine occupies me constantly.
But Mr. Scrooge.
Good afternoon.
I can only say, Mr. Scrooge, that I hope you will consider the spirit of the day and think again. Here's my card.
You'll be leaving the whole day tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
Oh, it is not convenient, and it is not fair. If I were to stop your wages half a crown, you'd feel yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. Yet, you don't see me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh, a former excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But you'll need the whole day, I suppose. Just be in early the next morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. And a Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge. took his usual melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all of the newspapers, he beguiled away the rest of his evening with his banker's book and went home to bed. Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on Scrooge's door, except that it was quite large, and it is a fact that Scrooge had seen it night and morning during his entire time in that residence. And bear in mind that Scrooge had as little of what is called fancy about him as any man in the entire city of London. And that Scrooge had not bestowed one thought upon Jacob Marley since the last mention of his dead partner that afternoon. That being said, let any man explain, if he can, how it came to be that as Scrooge stood with the key in the lock of his door, he saw on the knocker, not a knocker, but Marley's face! Oh. Ah!
Man of worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must.
required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow man and travel far and wide. If that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is due to wander the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness.
You are draped in chains. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you?
It is.
Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was as full, as heavy, and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Tell me more, old Jacob. Speak comfort to me.
I have none to give. A very little more is all that is permitted me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole. Weary journeys lie before me.
You must have been very slow about it, Jacob.
Slow?
7 years dead, and traveling all the time.
The whole time on the wings of the wind. No rest, no peace, incessant torture of remorse.
But you were always an excellent kind of business.
Business! Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Don't be so hard on me, Jacob.
My time is nearly gone. How it is I appear before you in a shape you can see, I may not tell. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance of escaping my fate, a chance of my procuring Ebenezer.
You were always an excellent friend to me, Jacob. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chant you spoke of?
It is.
I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Look, you, down upon the people of this planet, your fellow creatures crawling, senses shut through life. Many of them are known to you. You see them on the streets, in the shops, on the exchanges. They go about their business, seldom lifting their eyes to the crying children, to the inhuman misery that surrounds them. But what is this misery to what they will know when gone from this life? They seek to interfere for good in human affairs and find they have lost the power forever. Oh, captive, bound, and double-ironed, not to know that any human spirit working kindly in its own sphere will find its mortal life too short for its usefulness to mankind. Not to know that no amount of eternal regret can make amends for a life's opportunities misused. Yet, such are these. Expect the first spirit tomorrow night when the bell tolls 1.
Wouldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next, when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and for your own sake, look that you remember what has passed between us.
An icicle must have gotten stuck in the works. Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
What business brings you here?
Your welfare.
Oh, well, I am much obliged, but I can't help but think that a night of unbroken rest might be more conducive to that end.
Your reclamation, then.
Reclamation? What reclamation is there in the past? I don't want to see it.
Why not?
Because it is unpleasant to me. What good can come of it?
Take heed. Remember what you have seen already. Rise and walk with me.
But I am a mortal, and I am like to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Is this place familiar to you?
Oh, heavens! I was at school in this place. I was a boy here.
These are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. School is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
Oh, boy.
Ebenezer, dear brother, I've come to take you home.
Anne!
Yes, home for good and all. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. He spoke so gently to me one night that I wasn't afraid to ask him once more if he might come home. And he said, yes, you should. He sent me a coach to bring you. This is a Merry Christmas, friend. We're to be together all Christmas. Now the merriest time in the world. Let's get your trunk.
Always a delicate creature, of whom a breath might have withered.
But she had a large heart.
So she had. She died a woman, and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True, your nephew.
I wish.
But what is the matter?
But nothing. There were some children at my door the other night singing a Christmas carol. I would like to have given them something. That is all.
You know this place?
Know it. I was apprenticed here.
Your order, Ebenezer, Dick!
Oh, but old Fezziwig, alive again. Oh, bless his heart.
No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have this place cleared away before man can say, Jack Robinson.
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me, yes. Oh, he was very attached to me, was he? Oh.
Give me hold there, lads. Clear away. Let's make plenty of room. Give me hold there, Dick. Sure,
Season to be jolly, la 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 la. Jolly now our gay apparel, la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, la 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 la.
My dears, it's Christmas Eve. A toast to that glorious occasion. May tomorrow and the whole of the new year find us merry, content, and above all, filled with the happy goodwill of the season toward all our fellows. And in honor of the great occasion, I have engaged the services of the most renowned musician in the city of London. His nimble tricks over and amongst the strings of that most splendid of instruments are too well known that I should relate them. You all know him. You're all no doubt acquainted with his most miraculous capacities to raise the spirits of even the most mortuary of countenances. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the highly valued.
I don't deserve it, really. Ladies and gents, the Christmas child.
Nicely done. Nicely done, baby.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Why is it not? He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money, or perhaps. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
But that's not it at all, Spirit. He has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome. The happiness he gave was quite as good as if he had spent a fortune.
Oh, what is the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. I would just like to have a word or two with my clerk right now, that is all.
Oh, my dears, the hour grows late. Before we depart, however, Mrs. Fezziwig and I have an announcement. An announcement of an auspicious nature.
Show me no more, Spirit.
As you know, Mrs. Fezziwig and I have labored these many years to rear a very particular child. The fruits of our labor, I'm very happy to say, are most satisfactory. more than satisfactory. They are summed up in one beautiful word: Belle. Now, at the dawn, the very brightness of her youth and beauty, she has surrendered to the wiles of one of you in this very room, one to whom I furnished shelter, food, and a warm bed.
And a sore back and aching eyes, too.
Yes, I'll not deny he's the hardest working apprentice ever to balance a book or close an account. Come spring, our lovely Belle shall wed that most industrious of young men, Mr. Ebenezer Scrooge.
A dance from the couple.
Spirit, show me no more.
It matters little, very little. Another idol has displaced me. If it can cheer and comfort you in times to come, as I would have tried to do, then I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one.
This is an even-handed dealing of the world. There is nothing on which it is so hard as poverty, and yet it confesses to condemn so severely as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. All your hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the world's reproach. I've seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until one passion, gain, engrosses you. And have I not?
What then? Even if I've grown so much wiser, what then? I have not changed towards you. Am I?
Our contract is an old one. When it was made, we were both poor and content to be so, until in good time we could improve our fortunes. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your own feeling tells you you are not what you were. I am. How often I have thought of this does not matter. It's enough that I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If we had not had our past, would you seek me out and try and win me now?
You think not?
I would think otherwise if I could. But if you were free today, could I believe that you would choose a girl with so small a dowry? You who now weigh everything by gain? Or if you did choose her, do I not know that your regret would surely follow? I do. And I release you. With a full heart, for the love of the man you once were. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Go to her, fool. Fool. Show me no more, spirit. Why do you delight to torture me so?
I told you, these were but shadows of things that have been. That they are what they are, do not blame me.
Want me no longer? Leave me. Take me back.
As you wish.
Where's the boy?
Oh, I haven't forgotten. He's coming.
Good.
something. But what? No, too juvenile. Oh, heavens, no. Well, don't just stand there like a stick of wood. Inspire me!
I saw you sneaking away. What are you up to? Not giving up literary criticism for haberdashery, I hope.
This, my dear Lemon, is the next ghost. The ghost of Christmas something or other.
Really? To be played by you, I presume?
Naturally.
Do you think the others will cooperate? Such events planning enough to keep it fair.
Of course they'll cooperate. It benefits the story immensely, but it's missing something.
Well, it does look something less than ghostly.
What are they up to downstairs?
Oh, he has them on another scavenger hunt. Is there anything proper there in the trunk?
Some chalk, in case Stanfield is seized with yours to draw scenery. Here, let's see what it looks like.
Where did you find this?
In the linen closet.
Pardon me, Forrester, but the thoughts of you who puts unholy terror in the plunging hearts of writers, plundering a linen closet so you can run about as a ghost? Well, I think it's droll. I think I'll put that in the next edition of Punch.
Don't you dare. Now, come on. Look, hold it up. Now, let it down slowly. Well, what do you think?
That looks like a scarecrow.
You're right. It needs something to top it off, something to round it out. Come here. What? Come here. Get up here.
What the devil?
Up there. Come. There you go. Put these on.
My idea of Christmas Eve is good company, a decent meal, and a warm parlor.
There. Now, get on my shoulders.
What?
Sit on my shoulders!
I don't like heights, and acrobatics is not allowed.
Come on! Look at it this way. If I should collapse, we'll both be in the parlor. My God, are you sure you haven't eaten?
Are you going to lift me up now?
I'm trying. 1, 2, 3.
Are we ready?
Oh, are we ready? Oh, I'm afraid, Lemon, this is not going to work.
Of course not. Sure took you long enough to see the blinding light of that revelation.
I assure you, Lemon, it had nothing whatsoever to do with light. Let me hide you.
Ghosts are not my forte. I believe in more substantial beings.
But I still need something.
Here, try this. This should sit a little more lightly on your troubled brow. Plus, it'll give him a good start. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yes.
Gentlemen, I see you're prepared to carry on our tale.
We are. Well, we're...
Excellent, excellent. The room is in order. Good. I am arranging a small procession.
Definitely worth a good start as well.
Now, don't drop those, Frederick.
ordinary is happening this Christmas.
Daddy, don't drop your fruit. Frederick, don't move that.
Are we about to cannibalize our dinner for the sake of the story?
Never fear, Uncle Morpheus. This is only the beginning of the feast.
Oh, I certainly hope so. That poor beast is stunted.
It's not so small if you ask me.
No, it's not the main course. In her wisdom, Mrs. Dickens concluded that a second goose ought to be procured, and that the first goose not be large enough. You will be happy to know that the senior goose is safe and simmering in the oven.
Not that he didn't try to get that one, too. There's barely a thing left downstairs, and Mary is positively in a turmoil. And she should be. Having dinner stolen from under her nose like that.
Nonsense. Mary is an excellent woman, and a cook most adaptable to any situation. In any event, I have sent her home, where she ought to be on Christmas Eve.
I say, Dickens, may we, for the sake of the children, that is, put these things down?
Oh, well, yes, of course. Edibles in the other room, utensils on the desk.
My God, have you been to a pawn shop?
No, my dear Forrester. These are from the cellar, relics of my ancient past. Frederick will recognize them as a family tinware, which did in fact spend some days in a local pawn shop. We have yet to examine several of the families we've introduced. These few domestic items, along with what we already have, will help us to furnish their belongings. I have seen another vision.
Lord help us.
This time, the child was singing. So, warm up your voices.
Could be worse. What if he were flying?
When we left Ebenezer Scrooge, he was in bed, vaguely trying to recall and mend his unpleasant past, and wondering what variety of spirits awaited him in the present and the future. Gentlemen of a free and easy sort, who pride themselves on being acquainted with a move or two, express their capacity for adventure by observing that they are fit for anything from pitch and toss to manslaughter. Now, without venturing for Scrooge as heartily as this, I don't mind calling upon you to believe that he was ready for a good, broad field of strange appearances, that nothing between a child and a rhinoceros would have astonished him much. But, being ready for anything, he was by no means prepared for nothing. The bell tolled one. No shape appeared. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came.
Come in and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the likes of me before.
Never.
You have never walked forth with the younger members of my family, my brothers born these later years.
I'm afraid I have not, Spirit. Have you a great many brothers?
More than 1,800.
Oh, a tremendous family to provide for.
And I've never seen the likes of you. You're so sour. The blood's gone bad in your veins.
Duck me where you will, Spirit. Last night I went forth on compulsion, and I learned a lesson that is working still. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Profit? Touch my robe.
And Martha wasn't as late last Christmas by half an hour. Here's Martha, Mother.
Here's Martha. There's such a goose, Martha.
Why, my dear, how late you are. They're keeping you longer and longer at the milliner's.
Well, we had a tremendous deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Working on Christmas Eve? Well, never mind, so long as you're here. Sit down by the fire and have a warm.
Here's Father coming. Hi, Martha. Hide it. Where?
Oh, Merry Christmas, my dears. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Peter. Merry Christmas, Father. Why, where's our Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming. Not coming upon Christmas Day.
She had so much work at the milliner's. They sent someone round to tell the families that all the girls would be staying.
Well, if she feels she must stay, we'll abide by her good judgment. But it hardly seems fair to work on Christmas Day.
My dear Father, I can't stand to see you disappointed, even if it is a joke.
Well, then, we're all together after all, then it will be a Merry Christmas.
Peter, take Tim off to the wash house. The goose is all calling to be let out of the oven.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Timothy, this way.
And tend to the pudding, Belinda. It mustn't be overdone.
What if it were?
And how did Tim behave at church?
As good as gold, and better. Somehow, he gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much. And he thinks the strangest things you ever heard. Well, he told me coming home that he hoped all the people saw him in church because he was a cripple. And it might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who made the lame beggars walk and the blind men see. Then I trotted us round to the shop windows, where he gazed for the longest time at the toys. Sensing his spirits beginning to droop, I galloped us straight away to Cornhill Street, where in honor of its being Christmas, we went down the slide 20 times.
25.
Right you are, Tim, 25. And all along the way, any number of acquaintances stop us to remark that Tim is looking stronger and heartier every day.
You haven't made your punch yet, Father, and it can't be Christmas without your special punch.
Well, that's a fact. What could I be thinking to forget that? Here's Christmas dinner practically on the table, and not a drop of punch in evidence. Easily remembered.
Here we are, perfectly clean and wonderfully starved.
Good. The goose is all but calling to me to let out of the oven. Martha, help your father with the punch.
No need. All done in a trice.
Oh, remarkable kind, Father.
Let no man say that old Bob Cratchit can't mix his Christmas punch with the swiftest of them.
Here's the goose.
Oh, bravo. A remarkable bird.
Never has there been such a bird. A truly sumptuous-looking fowl, Mrs. Cratchit.
So small a goose, but so large a family.
And a pudding. Have you ever seen such a one? I ask you, Martha.
Oh, never. The girls in the shop would be positively ashamed to bring theirs anywhere near the vicinity.
Here. Let not be seen.
And you, Master Peter, have you ever set eyes upon the mortal pudding which could equal this wonder?
In all my years as a Christmas pudding observer, I've not seen fire.
And that's a high compliment indeed. Tell me a higher one and I'll use it. Mrs. Cratchit, as for myself, I think it is your greatest success since our marriage.
Well, it's a great weight off my mind. I don't mind confessing. I had my doubts about the quantity of flour.
Oh, never fear, Mother. It's perfect.
Now, before plunging into this splendid feast, I'd like to propose a health. A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears, and God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the fore chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
Oh, kind spirit, say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. What of it? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Man, if man you be, for can't until you have discovered what that surplus is and where it is. Will you decide which men shall live and which men shall die? It might be in the sight of heaven that you are less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child.
It may be, Spirit. It may be.
A toast. A toast, everyone. Mr. Scrooge. I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I hope he'd have good appetite for it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which we drink the health of such an odious, hard, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. Well, you know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you do.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I will drink his health for your sake, and Day's, not for his. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to him. I'm sure he'll be very merry and very happy indeed. Mr. Scrooge. Mr. Scrooge.
I won't give tuppence for Mr. Scrooge. Either would I.
Have an open heart. I beg you. It's Christmas after all. And I believe that in many ways, Mr. Scrooge is a great deal less fortunate than we are. Impossible. Oh, not at all. Compare our condition with that of Mr. Scrooge. He has no family to gather around him. No warmth, no cheer. He has none but his own voice to listen to, and none to answer. I believe he is a great deal less fortunate than we.
A clerk who makes 15 shillings a week, and he counts himself more fortunate than you.
Remembering those who are less fortunate, let us say grace. Kind Father, bless this humble portion. Bless our home, bless our family, bless our happiness. May we share them all with any who should ask. In your name, amen.
You cannot move within that circle.
Why not, Spirit?
Did you not hear the clerk take the measure of his employer? You are drifting alone outside and cannot get in. You have no circle.
But there was a kind Spirit when I passed.
How many years ago? That kind circle has long since withered. You have passed it from your heart.
I deny it, Spirit. I deny it. If any kindness within me has withered, it has done so of its own accord. I had nothing to do with it. If kindness wishes to wither, it withers.
Have you not seen nor heard? You unrepentant little man! You have a long journey to make, and but a short time to make it. Let us see another house in this teeming city.
All right, everybody have theirs? Good. Now, place it on the end of your nose like this. Ready? Repeat after me. Should be boiled in his own pudding.
Should be boiled in his own pudding.
Be buried with a stake of holly through his heart he should.
And be buried with a stake of holly through his heart he should.
On my leg, he said Christmas was a humbug. He believed it, too.
More shame for him, Fred.
Well, he's a comical old fellow, that's the truth. Well, not as pleasant as he might be. But his offenses carry their own punishment, and I'll have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he's very rich. At least you always tell me he is.
Well, what of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He certainly hasn't the satisfaction of ever thinking he's going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself always. Here he takes it into his head to dislike us, and he won't come dine with us. Well, what's the consequence? Doesn't lose much of a dinner.
Indeed. I think he loses a very good dinner.
He does.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, for I have no faith in these young housekeepers. What have you to say, Copper?
Well, I am a bachelor, and a bachelor is a wretched outcast who has no right to express an opinion on the subject.
Do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he begins to say. He's such a ridiculous fellow.
I was only gonna say, the consequence of his disliking us is that he loses out on some pleasant life that could do him no harm. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not. He may rail at Christmas till he dies. He can't help thinking better of it if he finds me going there, in good humor, year after year, and saying, Uncle Scrooge, how are you? Well, if it only puts him in a mind to give his poor clerk 50 pounds, that's something. And I think I shook him yesterday.
From the sound of him, I don't see where there's any more chance of shaking Mr. Scrooge than there is of shaking the Rock of Gibraltar.
Less, I should think.
I seem to recall, my dear Fred, you promised us a song would issue from the lovely throat of our hostess. Am I correct, sir, or am I mistaken?
Not mistaken at all. On your behalf, my dear, I pledged you would sing us a song befitting the season.
You did.
I had to. It was the only course of preventing Copper from playing his violin. And as I made the pledge over a punch bowl, you really must oblige, for any promise made here, a punch bowl is a binding one, with a grave risk to one's honor not to carry through.
And if you don't sing, we may have no recourse but to put this little warbler into the field, and we may all have cause to regret that.
I'm a fine singer. I sing solos in church.
In church, would you consider a duet?
Well, we'll both sing, to rescue Fred's honor. I know, the one Fred was taught by his mother.
Oh, good, my favorite, the Christmas Child. Do you know that one, Copper?
I know them all.
Oh, Christmas child, oh, Christmas child, why do you cry, little Christmas child? Old man needs your smile. What a world of joy cries a Christmas boy, is lost in the hearts of men. Come you see this sight on this Christmas night, a star is ablaze within. Oh, Christmas child, I've seen the star, little Christmas child, shining from your heart, and an old man's heart shattered wide apart, with hope, with love on this Christmas night. It's the star of cheer, singing peace is here. Rejoice, rejoice, for this wondrous sight. Oh, Christmas child, you've made me wise, little Christmas child. I'm your Christmas child.
Bravo.
I commend your choice of songbirds, my dear friend. What sort of net did you use to catch her?
Why, Topper, whatever makes you think he caught me?
Game is in order, I think.
A game, blind man.
Blind man's bluff, an excellent idea. I volunteer. No, quite all right, Freddie. I volunteer. In fact, I insist.
Your every wish, my dear Copper. Where's that blessed handkerchief? Ah, here it is. Any last requests?
Only one.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Who could this be? Oh, well. I really had no idea. I thought it was dear old Mrs. Fred.
No, he didn't. Spirit, no, he didn't. We knew what was wrong. Cheetah!
Another game.
Another, let's sit down.
A word game.
My time grows short.
But there's another game, Spirit. One more game.
If you wish, you might not find this one as amusing.
This is a game called Yes and No. I think of something and you have to guess what it is by asking me questions which I can answer either yes or no. All right, I've got it.
What is it?
Is it a living thing?
Yes.
Well, is it an animal?
Yes.
Is it a tame animal?
No, it is rather disagreeable.
Is it savage then?
Yes, fierce.
Well, does it make a noise?
Yes.
Does it bark?
Not in my opinion, though. Some may differ on that point.
Well, does it meow?
Definitely not.
That rules out the cats.
Does it howl?
Not style.
Does it growl or grunt?
Yes, I'd say it does both.
A brilliant boy, my Fred. He's got him stumped.
Is it a bear?
No.
Does it live in the jungle?
No.
Does it live in the zoo?
No, at least I don't think of it as a zoo.
What does he mean he doesn't think of it as a zoo?
It must be a city then. Does it live in a city?
Yeah.
A clever boy, but not clever enough for my Fred. He's as sharp as a needle.
Is it London?
Yes.
Does it walk the streets?
Yes.
Does anyone lead it?
Not that I've ever known. Heavens, no.
It's not a dog, and it's not a horse. Is it a person?
Is it sold in the market?
No, but it is often found near the exchange.
What sort of animal is found by the exchange? Is it a sociable creature?
Most unsociable.
Does it live amongst others of its kind?
Positively despises its kind.
Is it an ass?
How can it be an ass, you goose? An ass is dead.
No.
Well, it runs and it growls, and it lives in London, and it walks the streets. It's disagreeable, it's unsociable.
I know it.
I know what it is!
It's the tax collector, Uncle Scrooge.
If that's the case, then you reply to the question, is it a bear?
Well, then yes. But he's not a bear.
No, but your negative answer was sufficient to divert our attention from him.
He has given us plenty of merriment, I'm sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink his health. I say, Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
You seem to be the source of much merriment.
Yes, for others. Your hair is gray, Spirit. Our Spirit's life so brief.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight,
9.
at midnight. The time grows near.
What is this place?
Children are buried here.
Children.
It is the primary requirement for admittance that they be under the age of 10.
What did these children die?
Of too cruel a contact with the world, of cold, of disease, of poverty, of hunger, of the ruthless neglect of comfortable thousands.
They are buried so close together, almost one on top of the other.
A natural occurrence when their numbers are so great and each child so small.
From where did these children come that they should end so soon?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You are to show me shadows of things that have not yet happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that so? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have yet seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I would live to be a man different from that I was, I am prepared to bear you company. Will you not speak to me? Lead on. The night is waning fast. My time is precious, I know. Lead on.
Did you hear the news?
Indeed, I have.
Do you know the details?
No, I don't know much about it either way. All I know is he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, whatever was the matter with him, I thought he'd never died. Oh, God knows.
What has he done with his money?
I haven't heard. All I know is he hasn't left it to me. It's likely to be a very small funeral, for upon my life, I don't know of anybody going to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going, if a lunch is provided. I'll make the pilgrimage, but I must be fed. Well, I am the most disinterested among you, for I never attend funerals, and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. Come to think of it, I'm not sure I wasn't his most particular friend. Why, we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Bye-bye. Don't want to miss the morning's trade.
No.
Spirit, this is the exchange. These are men of business, very wealthy and very powerful. They are my good friends, for I make a point of standing well in their esteem. But if this is the exchange, these are my friends, where am I? I'm not standing in my usual corner, and this is most certainly my time of day. Spirit, I have been revolving in my mind a change of life. Could this be the outcome?
Oh, God! Much odds, then much odds, Mrs. Dillon. Just as Roxy found herself, they always did. That's true. No man more so. Then don't stand staring as if you was afraid, woman. What's the wiser? You're not going to pick holes in each other's coats, I suppose. No, indeed.
You hope not.
Well then, that's enough. Who's the worse for loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
True enough. If you wanted to dispose of him after he was dead, why wasn't he knocked during his lifetime? If he had been, he'd had somebody to look after him when he struck with death. Instead of gasping on his last there alone.
It's the truest word was ever spoke. It's a judgment on the wicked old screw.
I wish it were a heavier one, and it would have been too, if I could lay me hands on anything else. Now examine me bundle, Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor for them to see it. We all knew pretty well we were helping ourselves before we met here, I believe. It's no sin. Now examine me bundle, Joe.
No, my dear guys.
That's what I've always admired in you in all these years. Always the gentleman.
Joe, examine my luck first. Well, these are originals. I haven't seen that like in at least a half an hour. That's your account, and I wouldn't give another 6 pence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Why you trying to do that? Who's next?
I'll be next. Dan's nice, I know. Barely used. Don't suppose he ate off of much. Probably thought it was too valuable to wear out rubbed against his tongue.
2 shillings.
What? Twice that much?
Now these ain't bad. Rather handsome. A mite thin though. 4 shillings.
Oh, I pay high price for them boots. Boots is precious these days.
Have pity on me, Mrs. Dilbra. I'm just a poor old man trying to survive in retirement. Sturdy. Could last another winter, but it ain't the style. Have to knock off for that.
Oh, what you mean so pinch-fisted? You're a regular miser, as bad as this one. Nobody cares a penny for the style.
I always gives too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I'll ruin myself. And if you ask for another penny, I'll repent of being so liberal and knock off a half a crown.
Examine me bundle, Joe.
Oh, what do you call this? His covenant?
His covenant.
You don't mean to say you took it right off from him laying there.
Now I do, why not?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
And I shan't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching out, especially for the sake of such a man as he was. He's likely to catch his death cold without it, I dare say.
Well, I hope you didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Don't have to be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him if he did. Now, look at that shirt until your eyes fall out. You won't find a hole nor threadbare place. It's the best he had and a fine one, too. I would have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call wasting it?
Putting it on him to be buried in the cause. Someone was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. Calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, then it ain't good enough for anything. It is quite becoming to the body. He can't look any uglier than he did in that one.
You're a rare one. A rare one. What's this?
That is the prize of it all, you see, wrapped in a piece of paper under a pile of gold ledgers at the bottom of a trunk.
I wonder what he was doing with such a thing. I think he was going to give it to some lady.
None in their proper minds would have such a man as he was. It was like the Undertaker said, unnatural from first to last.
Well, it's a valuable piece. It'll fetch a nice price and feed old Joseph for a month.
Well, that's the end of it, you see. Frightened everyone away when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead.
I see, Spirit, and I see. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. It tends that way now. Merciful heavens, what is this? Is that the man whose belongings these scavengers have plundered? Spirit, this is a frightful place to me. In leaving it, I shall not leave its lesson. Let us go. I understand you, and I would do it if I could, but I have not the power, Spirit. I have not the power. Surely there is one man, woman, or child who will speak kindly of him. Show me that person, I beseech you. Let me see some kindness connected with the death, or this dark chamber will be forever present to me.
The light hurts my eyes. It makes them weak working by candlelight. For the world, I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he gets home. It must be near his time.
It's past it, rather. Oh, he's been walking a bit slower these past few nights.
With Tim on his shoulders, he used to walk very fast indeed.
No, run nearly.
He galloped.
But he was so light to carry, and your father loved him so it was noble. Oh, there's your father at the door.
Merry Christmas, my dear.
Merry Christmas.
The goose smells delicious. And the pudding. Did you help your mother, Belinda?
She made the pudding.
By myself I did.
No. You'll have your own bakery shop before you know it.
You were gone a long time, Bob.
Yes. I took a longer way.
You went today, then?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is, even this time of year. I promised him we'd walk there often of a Sunday.
I'll go soon, when the weather warms.
I should be making my punch.
It's already made, Father. I wanted to save you the trouble.
But it's no trouble. It's always one of my greatest pleasures this time of year, and this is the best time of year. Am I right? Am I right, Peter?
Yes.
Of course. You'll never guess who I met on the street today. Mr. Scrooge's nephew. Well, he only sees me once a year, you know. Yet he talked as if we were the closest of friends and on the most intimate terms. He'd heard about our distress, and he said, "Mighty sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit, and heartily sorry for your good wife." Oh, by the by, I don't know how he knew that.
Knew what, dear?
That you're a good wife. Everybody knows that. Very well observed, my boy. I hope that you... Heartily sorry, he said, for your good wife. Now for a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all. And a Happy New Year. Oh, my boy. Oh, my poor little boy.
Spirit, tell me, is there a reason the boy had to die? Spirit, I know not how, but something tells me that our parting moment is at hand. Tell me, what man was that whom we saw lying dead? A churchyard. Before I draw nearer, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I have been. If I am beyond all hope, why do you show me these things? pity me. No, Spirit. No. Oh, I will keep Christmas in my heart and honor it throughout the year. Oh, I will live in the past, the present, and the future. Spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons they teach me. Tell me, Spirit, how I may sponge the writing from this stone. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. Oh, I will live in the past, the present, and the future. I will live. Oh. I'm alive. I'm alive. This bed is my own. Oh, this room is my own. The time before me is my own. Oh, the ghost spared me. I knew he would. Oh, I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirit of all three will strive within me. Oh, I say it on my knees, old Jacob, on my knees. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man. Oh, there is the saucepan that the gruel was in. And there is the door through which Jacob Marley entered. Here is the place where the ghost of Christmas present stood. Oh, it's all real. Oh, it's all true. It all happened. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. I don't even know what day of the month it is. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. Oh, I'm quite a baby. Never mind. I'd rather be a baby. Glorious! Glorious! Hello there, my fine fellow. What's today? What is today, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day? I haven't missed it. Oh, the spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything. Well, of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow.
Hello?
Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one? The one on the corner?
I should hope I did.
Oh, an intelligent boy. Do you know if they have sold the prize-winning goose that was hanging there? Now, not the small prize-winning goose, but the large one.
What, the one as big as me?
Oh, an intelligent boy. It really is a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
It is? Go buy
Buy it yourself.
it. Oh, no. I am serious. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here so as I may give them directions where to take it. Come back with the man and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes and I'll give you half a crown.
Yarn!
I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's house. He won't know who sent it. the size of Tiny Tim.
Scrooge and Marley, I believe.
Good afternoon. How do you do, my dear sirs? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. A wonderful gesture. Merry Christmas to you both.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name. And I fear that it may not be very pleasant to you, but if you would allow me to ask your pardon, and if you would have the kindness to,
Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
oh, if you'll be so kind, and not a farthing less. Great penny-back payments are included in that, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
My dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence.
Don't say anything. Just come to see me. Will you come to see me?
I will.
I will. We both will.
Oh, I thank you. Oh, I'm so much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. And a Merry Christmas to you both. Scrooge went to church. He walked the streets. He patted little children on the head. He had never dreamed that anything could make him so happy. But in the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's home. He passed in front of the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. Fred?
Uncle Scrooge! Uncle Scrooge! Uncle Scrooge!
Let him in! Oh, it was a mercy. He didn't shake his arm off. He was home in 5 minutes. His nephew looked the same. So did the sister. So did Topper. Oh, it was a wonderful party. Wonderful games. Wonderful unanimity. And wonderful happiness. Oh, but he was at work early the next morning. If he could just be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late. Oh, that was the one thing he had his heart set upon. The bell tolled 9. No Bob. 15 minutes. No Bob. He was a full 18 minutes past his time.
Good morning, Mr. Scrooge.
Morning, Mr. Scrooge. What do you mean by coming in here at this time of day, sir?
I am very sorry, sir. I am a bit behind my time.
Oh, I should say you are. Step this way, if you please, sir.
It's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shan't be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I am not going to stand for this any longer. Scrooge, therefore, I am going to raise your salary, Bob Cratchit. I'm going to raise your salary, Bob, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you for many a year. I'm going to raise your salary and endeavor to assist your family. We'll discuss it this afternoon over a bowl of your special Christmas punch. Now, I want you to make a fire and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I. Bob Cratchit?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And a Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Jacob Marley, forget you as long as I live. A wonderful gift. A Merry Christmas, Jacob. Wherever you are. Scrooge did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he became a second father. He became as good a man, as good a master, and as good a friend as any the good old city knew. Now, there were some who laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh. He was wise enough to know that nothing ever happens for good in this world at which some people do not have their fill of laughter at the outset. His own heart laughed, and that was quite good enough for him. He never had any further transactions with the spirits, but instead lived upon the total abstinence principle thereafter. And it was said of him that Scrooge knew how to keep Christmas. Well, any man alive possessed the knowledge. And it should also be said that Scrooge never again attempted to forget his past, nor make an orphan of it. Instead, he made it a part of him and learned from its lessons. For it had occurred to him that his Maker and ours had given him a memory with a very specific purpose in mind.
Speaking of memory, I seem to recall a large goose in the oven downstairs. Are we going to eat it or aren't we?
Directly.
Are you going to rent the story now?
Well, that would be a good idea, Charlie. We can't very well have these lavish parties for the sake of Uncle Porpoise's stomach without a means for providing the goose and dressing, now can we?
Then you'll need these.
What is this? Well, it's not a clock, I'll be bound. Ooh.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, well, thank you, Charlie. Uncle Porpoise, never fear. Next year's gathering is assured.
Let's attend to this year's gathering first. And as Mary's gone home, we're going to need some assistance.
Helen and I will go check on the goose.
We mustn't let it get overdone.
What if it were? Right, Helen?
I better go behind and give him a push in case he gets jammed in the stairwell.
Will you help the ladies with the punch bowl standing? Of course. And Frederick, glass Charlie and I will put out the lights.
You know, Freddie, I was quite impressed overall by your performances, except for a major flaw here and there in your characterizations. You really quite surprised me. Didn't he surprise you, my dear?
Yes, I was very impressed. I didn't know you were hiding so much talent. Don't get him going. He'll go on for hours.
Yes, well, that's why you're just a painter, Danny. The bulk of your talent is yet to come out of your right hand. I, contrarily, well, what more could be said?
Very little, I'm sure.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
I like the story.
Thank you. I have an idea for another one. Would you like to hear it?
Does it have a boy in it?
Yes, but no crutch. There are two children, a brother and his sister, a sea captain and his mate.